No way to win. Nails in the coffin.
Hey everybody, it's your friendly neighborhood Uncle Pete, and this is my series, Nails in a Coffin, where we learn that with great kills, there must also come great nails. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel. If you are new here, you can read what Nails in a Coffin is all about in the section down below, because these videos aren't film reviews, rather a breakdown of the kills and evaluate how well the victim responded to their attack. This week, I'm covering a franchise I have covered before, the Child's Play franchise. But when I covered it, that was about 3 years ago, and that was only about a month after I actually started my channel, and I was still getting comfortable in front of the camera. And for me, those videos are kind of tough to watch, but you can't see how much I've improved over the years.
Who the hell said you improved?
Ignore that. I didn't have my Golden Nail Awards when I first covered those films. I didn't use half-nail increments, and I purposely did not cover the remake, but I guess I'm going to have to do that this time. Plus, there are other TV shows. So, it's time to play as I give my favorite horror franchise with my favorite horror villain a second shot at my Nails in the Coffin. Now, I don't remember how many nails I gave each victim when I first covered these films, and I'm not going to have a look at those until I get my new ratings for this film. I think it's going to be interesting to see if my ratings have changed and how much they have. So, I'll compare the two at the end of the episode, so stay tuned. Grab your good guy doll and let the nailing begin. First kill in this long-running franchise is probably the most important one of them all. It's serial killer Charles Lee Ray. Right out down Mancini, probably naming him after Charles Dickens, Bruce Lee, and Ray Romano. Chucky is on the run from Detective Mike Norris. Fright Night's Chris Sarandon. They're exchanging gunfire back and forth, with the killer taking him around in the leg, stopping him from getting into the getaway car. His partner Eddie Caputo leaving him behind, as Charles is limping down the street begging for him not to leave. Charles does make it to a toy store, breaking in, trying to avoid Detective Norris. The detective and Charles Lee Ray are having a shootout in the store, resulting in Detective Norris actually getting a round off that catches Charles in the chest up by his shoulder. Charles Lee Ray is losing a lot of blood, and he collapses onto a display of good guy dolls. Norris is closing in, and Charles's time is running out. He knows he's dying, and he sees an opportunity right in front of his face staring at him. He starts to hot a Dumbalo voodoo chant. Clouds are swirling overhead, and right as he finishes the chant, lightning hits the store, destroying most of everything, and then while checking the wreckage, Detective Norris does find Charles's lifeless body. Alright, I'm going to count this as a death for Mr. Charles Lee Ray, since he never returns to this form. Again, not remembering how I rated him last time, I'm going to give him 3 nails in a coffin. He did not want to die. He was shot twice and actually kept fighting. He knew he was dying as well, and he yells at Detective Norris that he's going to get revenge on him and Eddie, no matter what. Great scene. He studied voodoo for this reason, I imagine, and he knew it would come in handy one day, and all that work paid off, obviously. Suffice to say, it wasn't easy to kill him, and only his body was killed here, not his soul. So for those reasons, I feel he deserves at least 3 nails in the coffin. Aunt Maggie is Chucky's first victim in his new good guy form. She's currently babysitting Andy while his mom is stuck at work. After putting Andy to bed, we get a POV shot of Chucky running through the apartment. She hears something coming from the other room, and she gets up to check it out, but she's probably just thinking it's Andy messing around. Right as Maggie was getting on the phone with Karen, we see Chucky's POV, and he's picking up a toy hammer. Maggie then is cleaning up the mess that she thinks Andy made in the kitchen, a bunch of flour. She moves a plant by the window when she hears a noise, but nothing was there. She's kind of relieved, but when she turns around, she's hit in the forehead with the toy hammer. This causes her to stumble all the way back, crashing through the kitchen window and falling 3 stories to her death. Maggie fell out of the window and landed with 1 nail in the coffin. Many times if I watch her death, I can't understand how she stumbles back so fast that she was able to burst through a window. It wasn't like a tall window from ceiling to floor. It was at waist high. Somehow she stumbled back so fast that she was able to catapult herself out the window, almost like if she ran and jumped through it. I checked the floor, so it didn't look like she was slipping on the flour, so I can't give her a break for that. I just don't understand how she stumbles back so fast and bursts through a window like that. I understand the shock of seeing Chucky getting smacked in the head with a toy hammer, but it was a toy hammer, so most likely hard plastic at best. So I never really understood this one. It's a great death, don't get me wrong, but I think her death was pretty easily avoidable, so I'm only going to give her 1 nail in the coffin. Andy's dropped off for school the following day, and Karen makes sure he's alright about last night with Maggie's death. I do find it odd he was allowed to take Chucky with him, and I don't know why he was going to school. His babysitter just fell out of a window mysteriously. But once Karen leaves, Andy leaves the school carrying Chucky, and they're headed for the L. Chucky wants to pay an old visit to his old partner Eddie, and he's telling Andy how to get there. I tell you what, brave-ass little kid taking the train by himself at this age. But Eddie, because he definitely doesn't live in a nice part of the city. After arriving outside Eddie's place, Andy puts Chucky down and tells him he's got to go tinkle. While Andy's gone, we see Chucky's POV as he runs into Eddie's home. Eddie's sleeping on the couch while Chucky heads into the kitchen, turns on the gas from the stove. Andy comes back from his bathroom break. Chucky's not there. Inside Eddie's house, he wakes up knowing someone's been in there, so he grabs his pistol and starts searching. Andy's looking for Chucky outside while Eddie continues hunting for his intruder. Eventually, Eddie bursts into the kitchen, fires his gun, which ignites the gas in the room and explodes his entire home. Eddie shot his way in receiving 1.5 nails in a coffin. It was definitely inherently stupid of him to burst the door open in the kitchen and fire blindly at nothing. Chucky wasn't in the house when it exploded, so it's not like he shot at the doll getting scared when he saw it. There's no time for him to have interaction with anything because he just opened the door and shot right away. I'm only going to give him that extra half an hour since he probably didn't know the room was full of gas, even though he may have smelled it. Not sure. He was paranoid because he knew he messed up by leaving Charles Lee Ray behind at the beginning of the movie, so he was definitely super paranoid. So, yeah, I'm going to give him that little extra half an hour for not knowing about the gas. So, the best he's getting really is only 1.5 nails in the coffin. Moving on to Chucky's next kill, he pays a visit to his old voodoo instructor, John Bishop. He tells John that he was shot and hurt like a son of a bitch and bled. Chucky doesn't understand because he didn't think he could be hurt while he was in this other form. John tells Chucky that the longer he's in this form, the more human he'll become. Chucky's not too happy with that. John refuses to help Chucky, calling him an abomination, polluting everything he was taught. When John goes to call the cops, Chucky suddenly has a small voodoo doll of John in his hands. He tortures John by breaking the doll's leg and arm, which results in John's getting these injuries as well. Chucky threatens to kill John unless he tells him how to get out of the doll, so he tells Chucky he has to transfer his soul into the body of the first person he revealed his true self to. And then Chucky stabs the voodoo doll, killing John in the process. I had to think about this one for a minute, but I'm going to give John 1.5 nails in a coffin. Now, yes, he was somewhat innocent here. He didn't want to help Chucky, realizing, as he called it, he was an abomination. But Chucky was going to kill John regardless of what he told him, so John did refuse right away, and I'm going to give him credit for that. However, he had a voodoo doll of himself, one that can be used to gravely injure or kill him. Why would you own that? Chucky didn't make it. John had it. Chucky just knew where it was. So why would you have something like that, and why would it not be locked away? So I got to take some points away for that, and that's why I can't give him any more than 1.5 nails in a coffin, because why would you own something so dangerous and not have it locked away and so easily to be found that a 3-foot doll was able to find it? So, yeah, I think it was pretty stupid right there, so 1.5 nails in a coffin feels right. After Andy was found by Eddie's exploded home, he was taken away from Karen and sent to a psychiatric hospital. He's currently under care of Dr. Ardmore. Andy sees that Chucky is there, but the doctor doesn't believe his story. And I got to give props to Alex Vincent in this scene. It's just really excellent acting from the kid because he legit looks terrified. Chucky was able to get the keys to Andy's room, and he opens the door getting ready for the attack. He thinks Andy's hiding under the covers, but his surprise when he pulls him back, Andy's not there. He was hiding underneath the bed, so he's momentarily able to get away from Chucky. Dr. Ardmore, who saw Andy run out of the room, catches up to him while Andy hiding in one of the exam rooms holding a scalpel. The doctor gets the scalpel away from Andy, and he tries to give him a shot to sedate him. Chucky picks up the dropped scalpel and stabs the doctor in the leg, sending him to the floor, where Chucky puts on an electroshock halo on him. Before the doctor can really react, Chucky turns the device on and shocks the doctor as Andy looks on in horror as the doctor is electrocuted to death. Dr. Ardmore is awarded 1.5 nails in a coffin. His score is low mainly for having an electroshock therapy device that could be used that's that dangerous. I understand that it was a form of therapy to treat people with mental illnesses years and years ago, but why would it be able to go up in voltage that high where it can pretty much just cook a person's head? I know the real answer is movie, the script said so, but Nails in a Coffin is based on movie reality. But no matter how you look at it, a device like this that was that dangerous should never have been used. So I had to take that into consideration when rating nails, because it was a used device, I imagine. So I think that was inherently stupid. So that's why I'm going to give Dr. Ardmore only 1.5 nails in the coffin. Plus, he really never tried to get the thing off his head or anything. I wasn't sure if I wanted to count Chucky's demise as a death where I can give him a nail rating, but he goes out so many different ways in this franchise, I figured it would be fun to count his deaths in doll form. This leads us into the final death in Child's Play. It took a lot to kill Chucky in his doll form the first time. He was already been burnt to his crypt thanks to Andy, where we get one of the best lines in the entire franchise.
This is the end, friend.
I love this shot of Chucky slowly stalking Andy with the knife. Chucky is now slowly walking towards Karen and Andy. She shoots him twice, and the second shot is able to take off Chucky's head. Karen then shoots his right arm off, and Chucky hasn't slowed his pursuit. She then shoots him again, and his leg is blown off now. Chucky eventually falls to the floor. Karen then walks over to Chucky's body and empties the gun into him. The ordeal is not over yet. Mike is telling his partner what just occurred, and he's finding it hard to believe until Chucky's body grabs him around the throat from bursting through a vent, while Chucky's severed head is yelling, "Kill him." Karen helps Jack get Chucky off of him and throws his body against the wall. Then Mike takes aim and shoots a doll through the heart, temporarily killing Chucky. Chucky gets the final set of nails, and I'm going to give him 3.5 nails in a coffin for his doll form. Chucky could feel pain while in doll form, we've established that. So he was burnt to hell, had his arm, leg, and head shot off, yet he was still trying to get revenge and kill people. He was tough as hell to kill. He 100% did not make it easy to kill him. And I really didn't see any stupid mistakes from him, because he was just one determined killer. And I think this is going to be a good trend for our good guy doll. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Those are all my nails in a coffin for Child's Play. Here's a summary of all the nails I've awarded. Here's a look how I nailed these victims 3 years ago. So it looks like 3 years ago I didn't rate Charles Ray's death at the beginning of the film when I first covered it. Maggie, she got the same rating, and since I now have half nail increments, Eddie and Dr. Ardmore, I gave them a little bit extra, and John Bishop along with Chucky got a little bit less. The average was slightly higher this time around, most likely since I rated Charles' death at this time. This does tell me that adding half nail increments was a wise decision, because it pretty much gives me more leeway with my ratings. I'll see you here next week when I cover Child's Play 2, which is many people's favorite of the franchise, and it is an excellent movie. And we'll wait till next week to see how those victims get nailed. Until then, thanks for watching. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, all the usual stuff. I really would appreciate it. So I'll see you then. Take care, be safe, be good to each other. I am your friendly neighborhood Uncle Pete. Remember, with great kills, there must also come great nails.
I'm gonna kill you, Uncle Pete.